Hey guys, it is Black Gaming. If you're coming from my last video, or if you just found this while browsing for magic decks, this is my deck, Think Morbid Thoughts. I'll talk about the deck a little bit. It is a Morbid deck, obviously. One thing I noticed about Morbid decks, though, when I look for them, it's always the same thing. Like, it's the intro deck from Innistrad, Deathly Dominions, and then people just barely do shit to it. Like, they put in a Reaper from the Abyss, maybe another Skier's deck High Priest, and they don't really do much to it. And I'm like, why? I want to point out that not once did I buy the Deathly Dominion deck. I went out and got all these different cards for different decks, and then one day I was staring at my cards, and I decided I could make a Morbid deck. And I did. And really, when I throw decks together like that, they don't end up well. And this deck turns out to be my best deck. And I will be taking it to F&M tonight. I guess right now the biggest thing the deck can do is pull out demons like that, because it runs 4 Skier's deck High Priests. So pulling out a demon token is really easy. And then the deck also has Parallel Lives to double my demon tokens. And this deck just accelerates with 5/5 demon tokens, and they have flying, which makes it harder to block them. And I can make them unblockable, which we will get to in the sideboard. Alright, so onto the deck. Let's start off with creatures. First off, this is the main creature of the deck, and there's 4 of them. Skier's deck High Priest. Whenever a creature dies, you can tap it and 2 untapped creatures you control. And you get a 5/5 demon token with flying. So, that's the heart of the deck. Now I'll go on to the black 1-drops. These guys, and along with, I'll just do all the 1-drops, I guess. These guys, I try to pull them out turn 1, obviously. From green, we only have 3 Young Wolves. I don't run 4. You're not going to see 4 of any other creature in this deck, besides Skier's deck High Priest. So 4 Young Wolves, which actually work really well with stuff like Altar's Reek. Actually, a combo that I do in this deck that people wouldn't expect. I Tragic when I can't get a Morbid, like nothing will die this turn. I will Tragic Slip a Young Wolf. The Young Wolf comes back as a 2/2, and I have the Morbid, so I can tap that Young Wolf that just came in, one other creature, and a Skier's deck High Priest, and I get a 5/5. So for that 1 mana, I can get a 5/5. Young Wolf is really nice since he's a 1-drop with Undying. That allows me to sack him and tap him more. Next up, we have 3 Fume Spitter. You sacrifice Fume Spitter, and you get to put a -1/-1 counter on a creature. Really simple. Kill off the creature. This next guy, I Tragic Slip him a lot too, but that's if I don't have Young Wolves. He's a good chump blocker. 3 Typhoid Rats. It's a 1/1 for 1 mana, and it has Death Touch, so it'll make sure something dies. This next card, I just took out 2 Festerhide Boars for it. This is Festerhide Boar. Oh, shit. It is a 3/3 for 4 mana with Trample, and if a creature died the turn that you played it, it gets 2 +1/+1 counters on it, making it a 5/5 for 4 mana with Trample. I'm not so sure about this card. I added 2 Disciple of Grizzlebrands. I'm not sure. I'm going to test that out tonight, see whether Festerhide Boar or the Disciple works well, because you'll see later this deck can gain a lot of life already, and the Disciple's really not all that great. But it's an easy sack. Like, I wouldn't have to Tragic Slips. I wouldn't have to waste Tragic Slips. I would just have to use Disciple of Grizzlebrand and sack it, and then I could actually use Tragic Slip on something more important. Next up, this deck needs Morbid. It needs a Morbid, and it needs land, so I decided to run 2 Dawn Treader Elks. It's a 2/2 for 2 mana, which is good, and then what I use it for normally is you can pay 1 green, sack it, and you get a tapped land. This next guy I use constantly, and I love it, and I'm disappointed that he's not going to be an M13. 3 Brindle Boars. It is a 2/2 for 3 mana. You can sack it and gain 4 life. And there is a huge combo that I do with Brindle Boar, and I will show you in a minute after I get done with the deck video. Next up, Reaper from the Abyss. I have 3, and I will be putting in a 3rd one for tonight. That might seem a little much, and I'm kind of going to test that out before FNM, but I will be putting in a third Reaper from the Abyss. We have one Mickey the Unhallowed. This guy's great. This guy is amazing if you can pull him out, because when you sack your creatures, they get Undying, and he is part of the great combo. I'll just show you now, since it only involves creatures. This combo can gain you 16 life. And if you have, this deck only has one, but if you have Gutter Grime on the field, this will get you tons and tons of Ooze tokens. But anyway, here's the combo. There's Fume Spitter, Brindlebore, and Mickey the Unhallowed. Alright, so the rule is, if a creature with a +1/+1 counter is a -1/-1 counter, both counters are completely gone. So if you put a -1/-1 counter on a creature with a +1/+1, they're both gone, and you can use Undying over and over and over. So what you're going to do is, you're just going to have Mickey the Unhallowed sitting there, giving your creatures Undying. You're going to have your Fume Spitter and your Brindlebore without +1/+1 counters. What you're going to do is, you're going to sack Brindlebore, you gain 4 life. He comes back with a +1/+1 counter. Then you sack Fume Spitter to put a -1/-1 counter on Brindlebore. So Fume Spitter's dead, but then he comes back as a 2/2. Now Brindlebore doesn't have the +1/+1 counter, so you can sack him again. He comes back again, and you've already gained 8 life. You sack Fume Spitter again, now you're done with him. And you give him another -1/-1 counter. Now you sack him again. Now you're at 12 life. He comes back, sack him again. You're done with him too. 16 life. Simple combo, I like it. And if you have Gutter Grime, that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That would give you 6 6/6s. So it's a good combo. So onward to the enchantment sorceries and shit like that. One Gutter Grime. This card is very, very broken, and I just don't want to run a second one because I think it's too overrated. And I have enough 6-drops, and I don't really need a whole lot of 5-drops too, so just one Gutter Grime. Another ramp card, which comes in handy, Caravan Vigil. Using that with Dawn-Treader Elk, you can get 2 extra lands on a turn. So this card I will be taking out immediately tonight. My friend has the 2 Parallel Lives right now. Right now it's 2 Deathly Allures. Those will go out as soon as I get to my friend's house and we go to FNM. So 2 Parallel Lives. For those of you that don't know what that does, whenever you play a token, you get a second one. So whenever I accelerate those demons, whenever I tap my priest, I get 2 5/5s, which is going to be really good. 2 Altar's Reap. You sacrifice a creature and you draw 2 cards. Accelerate draw power, and I don't have to run Blood Gift Demon for it. 2 Tribute to Hungers. Your opponent sacrifices a creature and you gain life to its toughness. If you've noticed, I sack my own creatures a lot, and I don't do a lot of killing. Because that way I don't have to worry about my opponent killing off their creatures and doing what they want to do. I can just say, no, fuck you, I'm going to sack my own creatures and get what I want. So I'm not big on killing, but Tribute to Hunger is definite in this deck. There isn't Doomblades, there isn't Go for the Throats, there's Tribute to Hunger. That's it. Well, that's not it. There is one other kill spell. It's the only other card that I run 4 of in this deck. It is Tragic Slip. Gives a creature -1/-1. I use that on Young Wolf and Typhoid Rats to get a Morbid. Or, if a creature dies this turn, a creature gets -13/-13. That'll wipe out any creature in Standard. So, yay. Onward to the lands. I only have 2 Woodland Cemeteries. It's the green-black dual land. And I'm fine with running 2, because I like drawing basics, because I need those 1-drops all the time. Forests, we have 9. 9 forests. And swamps, we have 13. So 24 land altogether. And I love the art. Like, in my opinion, the art of these lands fit with, like, the Woodland Cemetery. They work with the art. I'm big on art. Like, when I go and make my Magic decks, all my art has to be the same. The picture has to work with the strategy of the deck, and I'm weird like that. I don't do full arts a lot. Like, my Goblin deck has full arts, but that's it. This forest from Innistrad, which I think reminds me of Woodland Cemetery, and this swamp from Innistrad, which is the graveyard, and I think it works with Woodland Cemetery. They look very morbid anyway, so yeah, I'm kind of weird like that. Gotta have my lands right. Onward to the sideboard. This card I do not like very much. I used to be a huge fan of this card, and it just doesn't work in this deck. It just doesn't. I tried it, and it didn't work at all, but I was like, I might need this if I'm up against a token deck that's faster than me, like red-white aggro humans or something. 2 Killing Waves. We should go fast. 1 Grave Tiller Worm, 1 Corrosive Gale, 2 Bower Passages, which makes the demons unblockable, 2 Hollowhinge Scavengers, which might get replaced with 2 Festerhide Boars, 3 Ambush Vipers, 2 Human Fertilities that I take out with Tragic Slip if I'm up against humans, 2 Naturalizes. I'm at 11 minutes, I should go. Thanks for watching, comment, rate, subscribe, shit like that. Check out my Tapped Out, and I'll see you guys later.